All right, so here we are, Wednesday. So Wednesday's lesson is going to be all about logarithms. So the key thing I want to talk about with logarithms, A-R-I-T-H-M-S, is we're looking for exponents. So let's look at this problem right here. The logarithm in base 2 of 8 equals 3. And the reason for that is because I can take this number 2, raise it to the third power, and get an answer of 8. So we're going to say 2 to the third equals 8. Continuing on that, if I say the logarithm in base 5 of 25, we're asking 5 to what power equals 25? And that obviously is 2. 5 squared equals 25. And then similarly, logarithm in base 3 of 81. We're saying 3 to what power equals 81? And if you're not sure, just start taking 3 to the first, 3 to the second, 3 to the third, 3 to the fourth. Oh, there we go. So 3 to the fourth equals 81. Okay? So that's all logarithms are. I'll give you something like this, and I'll say, find the answer. Find the exponent. 2 to what power equals 8? 5 to what power equals 25? 3 to what power equals 81? And we're looking for that exponent, that power. Okay? So that leads us then into a couple of general forms here. And essentially, what we're talking about is this form right here and this form right here. This form right here is called logarithmic form. So that's my first general form. Logarithmic form. And logarithmic form says we have the logarithm. That's just what it's called. This little number down here we're going to call the base, B-A-S-E. All right. The big number we're just going to call a number. And what goes over here in the equal sign? The exponent. Okay, so think about that. Logarithmic. So log, that's just what we're doing. This 5 is my base. This here is my exponent. That gives me this number right there. So you can see how that all fits in. Exponential notation is this version right here. So we've got our base. And we raise it to the exponent. And that equals my number. Okay? And so that's the whole idea behind logarithms. Okay, between both logarithmic form and exponential form. But all you're asking for when you're dealing with logarithms is an exponent. So if I say logarithm base 2 of 32, you got to say, okay, 2 to what power equals 32? Plug and chug until you get an answer of 5, checking and guessing on your calculator. This one, logarithm in base 3 of 27. 3 to what power equals 27? 3. Okay? And the last one I want to show you is kind of interesting. Logarithm in base 4. Let's throw a fraction up there. 1 over 64. Now, when you're dealing with fractions, it's real simple. Look at the denominator, especially if it's 1 over. All right? Here's what we know. We know that 4 to the third equals 64. Just straight up. Okay? Should agree with that. Since this is the reciprocal of this, instead of putting a 3 down, my exponent, I make it a negative 3. Okay? And so just looking at another example like that, if I say, what's the logarithm? Oh, I don't know, base 4 of 1 over 16. We know that 4 squared equals 16. We got the reciprocal, so we just make it negative. And that's pretty straightforward. Okay? Now, you may have noticed on your calculator, there is a logarithm button. And you might say, Mr. Lamb, why can't we do all of these just using that button? And you can't do all of these because we have a different base. This assumes you have a base of 10. So if I give you something like this, logarithm of just a 10 where there's no number here, right? This is called a common logarithm. common log, the base is 10. Okay, just like in these previous examples. Here the base was 2, here the base was 5, here the base was 3. These ones you can do on your calculator. And it's really straightforward. You're saying log of 10, 1. Whoops, can't see that. There we go. And think about it. 10 to what power equals 10? 10 to the first. Logarithm of 1,000 should be 3, right? 3, yay. So these ones can be done on a calculator. These ones you just gotta kind of guess and check until you get it. All right, you shouldn't come up with any decimals or anything too nasty. You can also do it with the number we learned yesterday, e. So ln of e squared. Now, different key, ln. ln, right there. Okay, you got to use that key anytime you have the letter or the number e in there. So let me type that in. ln of e squared. Oh, 2. Cool. Basically here, your base is 10. This one is called the natural log. And the base is the number e. And that's all I got for you. Talk to Mrs. Habercorn or whoever your sub is and get your assignment. Peace.